This is part 2 of the instructional videos for Literature Resource Center through Gale. In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the other tools and advanced searching that we didn't cover in the first video. And I'm going to start with an advanced search, which is over here with the little magnifying glass with the plus in it. And if you click on that, it will take you to this page. And the advanced search is good if you have a more complex topic with more keywords that you want to use. So, for example, if you wanted to write a paper about Shakespeare and the women in the plays, we could say Shakespeare over here. Person by or about is going to be for authors and biographies, so that will help. And also women, and we're going to just make this keyword. Some of them they've autofilled, so you need to make sure that you change that to whatever is most appropriate. You also have options here for peer-reviewed journals. You can select your dates, century. If you only wanted to see literature criticism, for example, you can select that there. And then we're going to press search. And we will find literature criticism, talking about women in Shakespeare's plays. And you can see that the relevant results are going to come to the top, and it's pretty good about finding things that are relevant. Also down here, you can choose the document type, critical essay, article, or an excerpt. Also, the publication title. These are the journals that they come from. So that's the advanced search. The other thing that I wanted to demonstrate here are the person search and the work search. These are kind of interesting tools as well, because you can type in the name. You can also, if you're looking for a specific, if you want to browse different things, like let's say you wanted authors from magical realism literary movement, you can type that in there. And then this is kind of cool. Press search, and it will give you kind of an index of all of these people who are associated with the magical realism movement, and they come from all over the place. So this is an interesting thing to do if you have a topic you want to write about, and you want to see more authors who are associated with that movement. That's a good way to find, this is a good way to explore different aspects for your research paper.
So, following up on that, from the person search, you can also do a work search, and it's a little different. It doesn't include all of the same fields, but you can search by title, author, by the type, and then you have all of these options here, different genres, musicals, operas. So if you wanted something really specific, you could search that. Also, different centuries. The one thing that's missing, which would be interesting to include that we had in the person search, is the literary movement. So that, for some reason, is not available in the work search, but you can still get kind of specific with this. And so if you were to go to, let's say, something interesting here, maybe comic strip, see what they have for that if you wanted to talk about that as a group of literature. I have to log on again. So then you've got all of these comic strips, some really famous ones. So that's another interesting way to browse this particular database. And then one of the last things that I wanted to talk about is the topic and search term frequency tools, which you find down here on the home page. You can also get to them from the specific article. I'll show you where to find that in a second. But the topic finder is really interesting to use. Click on it and you can type in your search term. Let's say magical realism, since we used that example before. And then what it does is it shows you other things and terms that show up in the results list if you were to do a search for magical realism. So, here's Garcia Marquez, and then it'll highlight where that appears in some of those other works. Now to get back to your tiles, you press this reset button, and then you can go back to browsing. So if you look for theater, magical realism in theaters in the title of this one particular document. So this is a good way to kind of get an overview of other topics that are related to your search terms. And you also can do it in the wheel if this is more easy to follow and it kind of breaks these topics up. The other thing, if we go back to our home page, the term frequency is very interesting as well. Let's say you wanted to, here's one I did before. If you want to compare fantasy to science fiction, just to see how they, just to see a correlation between those two terms. So then we have this spread here. So down here on the bottom we have science fiction, and it'll give you an overview starting with 1972. That's where we start seeing that term, and fantasy from all the way back in 1928. And you can see this is the frequency by which they occur, and if you go to popularity, it'll show you the number of documents out of the total documents that they're looking at here. So those are two ways to look at that information. So as a follow-up to the topic finder, I wanted to show you another way that you can access that. If you've already done a search here and pulled up your results, and you scroll down in the sidebar, and you'll see those same tools here as well under Analyze. So you can click on that topic finder, and it'll already have your search term here, and it'll pull up that same chart where you can see your search terms and the related terms. So that's all I wanted to say as far as the more advanced search techniques and tools that you can use with this database. I've included my contact information on the bottom of the handout, which is also available on the website. So if you have any questions or need clarification on anything else, please let me know. Thank you very much.